All right, so in this quick video, we're going to talk about methods, and we're just going to do two simple things here. We're going to talk about what a method is and how it's different from a function. Then I'm going to show you a traditional way to use a method and access it, and then finally just end with a more modern way to use a method and how to access it again. So let's get started. So a method is simply a function that is a property of an object. So when you have a function and you make it a property of an object, it becomes a method and it's referred to as a method. And you're probably familiar with methods because JavaScript has a lot of built-in objects and methods. So you're used to using methods. You just might not know how they work or really know how they're put together if you don't build them yourself. So we're going to start with just a simple example here. We're going to go ahead and put together an object here called dog, and we're going to give this object named dog a few properties here. So we know dogs have 4 legs, and we know dogs do have teeth, and we know they have a nose, and of course they have a best friend. And then finally, let's go ahead and here is where we are going to create a method. And the traditional way to do this would be to give it a property name and then or a key and then a value being a function. And so this is the important distinction here. This function is a property of dog, the object dog. And this function can just do something really simple for our purposes here. And that's it. Right there, we have created an object, a dog, which is a constant. And now what we can do is go ahead and show how this method is used. So it's really as simple as we'll go ahead and console log dog.sound, and let's just see what this gives us here. Okay, what this gives us is, as we know from previous videos, what we did here in the console log is we referenced this method. We referenced this method sound, and so in the console, we were printed out a function named sound. Now, if we want to actually get the returned value of this method, we need to add the parentheses on the end. So there's our woof. So this is what a method is, how it's different from a function. I mean, it's really not different from a function. A method is a function. It's just a function that is a property of an object. So all of these, legs is a property of object, teeth, nose, best friend, and then sound. When the function becomes a property of an object, it is then referred to as a method. It's still a function, but it's more specifically a method. So to continue this example, I'm going to show kind of the more modern ES6 way to add a method to an object and access it. It's really not that different. It's just a little more syntactically straightforward and less verbose. So let's go ahead and create another constant here, another object, and we'll call it cat. And a cat is going to be pretty similar to the dog. Has legs, has teeth, has a nose. And for the method here, we're going to give this cat a function, a method, but we're gonna do it a little bit differently than we did here. Instead of giving the method a name and then assigning like a function here, what we're going to do is we can remove the whole function. We can remove the function protected word. I know JavaScript has all these words that are reserved. I think they're reserved words where you can't use them in naming of your variables, constants, or and whatnot. So Anyways, here what we can do is we can just go ahead and call it sound and put the parentheses on the end, and that tells JavaScript that this is a method that we are creating here. And we are going to return meow, of course. And it's really that simple. This is the more ES6 way of creating a method right here. And really nothing changes as far as accessing it. It's still really simple. We're going to use dot notation to access a property on the object cat. And we just use sound like this. And what we should see is both a woof and a meow now. And we do. So really that's methods for you. It's, don't get confused with the whole idea of a method. It's really not that different from a function. It's not different at all from a function. It's just methods are more specifically functions that are properties of an object. And it's really that simple.